There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello, and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
From 2021.
Yes, we made it. Woo woo!
Woo!
Get rid of that 2020. Psh,
yeah, get out
of
here.
here. All right, we're here. We're in the now. 2021, first podcast of the year. What up, everybody?
Yes.
And thanks for joining us. And we're here to recap The Curse of Oak Island.
Well, yeah, this episode, High on the Bog.
High on the Bog.
I'll get my handy dandy notes here.
I very much enjoyed this episode.
I did too. I thought it was loaded with lots of goodies, and you and I had lots of good discussion about what was on the episode.
I think I had probably, if I were to put my notes from digital to actual paper, probably about 8 pages of notes.
Yeah, mine's.
You have actual pages of paper.
Yeah, it took me a while to find them in here because I've been working on a different treasure hunt, and I've been using a lot of paper. I guess I'm a tree killer instead of a tree hugger. I recycle. It's all recycled.
You're fine. Look, they used all that wood on Oak Island, right?
Yeah, wood. So, this is purely Oak Island
made paper. Wouldn't that be so? They should make paper. Oak Island Paper. The Oak Island Paper Company.
Oh, snap.
Call us. We got more ideas.
We have more ideas. We're ready to go.
All right. So, season 8, episode 8, High on the Bog. Let's chat about it.
Okay. So, we kind of go location.
Room to room.
Room.
It's like a big giant game of Clue over here on Oak Island.
What is this? Like MTV Cribs? Go room to room and got a waterfall in my master bathroom.
You know what would be fun? Like a Oak Island Clue board game. Like they found it in the money pit with Billy's excavator.
With Billy Scoop?
With Billy Scoop.
Or is it Craig Scoop?
I don't know. Anywho, we're going to be chatting about the episode, but in a moment, but I want to say first, tonight we have Oak Island trivia as well. So if you're able to hear this, we're going to put this up on the podcast feed as well. But if you hear it before 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do Oak Island trivia tonight. 20 questions, win some prizes, hang out with us, and
win.
Chat some more Oak Island with your friends because we have lots of Oak Island peeps show up in the chat every week.
Yeah, so
lots of friends.
Catching up, we're getting the things done.
Yeah. We had a little bit of a end of year
hiatus.
No, not really. It was just like an end of year meh, and now we're
I've been busy. I've been working. That's my excuse.
Yeah, but as far as
content.
Yeah, as far as content goes, we've just been we can't do it right now. Yeah. But guess what? We're back and we're doing it.
We are.
So, want to talk about the episode?
I guess we start just at the war room.
We start in the war room.
Okay.
Just like they did on the episode, right?
Yep.
All right, so it's another meeting with Aaron Helton.
Yes.
And we got a lot of people hanging out in the virtual chat room there. And we had, who did we have at the table?
Let's see here. Who do we have? We had Rick, Doug, Steve, Alex, Billy, and Peter.
Woo! Of course, Billy's at the table.
Of course.
He's basically running the show.
If something must be Doug, there must be a Billy.
That's right. And then on the teleconference screen, we had Aaron Helton, Judy Rudabush, we had Tom Nolan, Paul Troutman, Craig Tester, and Marty was actually teleconferenced in. And then we had Gary, Jack, Laird, and Scott hanging out in the research center. Full house.
Full house. Oh, speaking of a full house, I want to pause here because Jacqueline in the chat, she had mentioned those of you that are watching this, live or through YouTube are asking if there's something new on our shelf behind us. So we always have our gnomes. We have Scott, Scart, and Guppy back there. And then we have the pink flamingo that came our way.
Yep, from Connie.
Yeah. And then we have these two little guys. I'm trying to point with my pencil and this isn't going well. So I've been cleaning, and these came from Claire and Chris in Australia. So there's a kangaroo
and
And a koala, and the koala's got a little flag.
Australian flag.
Yeah. And then we've got the other teeny tiny gnome that came from our fan Agnes.
Yes, Agnes.
We've got a collection of critters that keep showing up from our friends here at the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that was it. I know it was sidetracked, but they're kind of at their own round table back there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can probably talk more about that during Oak Island Trivia.
I guess we could, instead of me interrupting right now.
It's okay. All right. So we have this this kind of like going down over in the war room for more of Erin's theory, right?
Yes.
So she gave a little bit of a recap of previously sending them out to check out some potential anchors and boulder stones, right?
Yep.
And she wants to like basically redraw what was lost in the money pit area on her map.
Which makes sense, right? So we're trying to really pin down where the triangle and the anchors were and all these little things to really see if we can get this grid laid out. And
then we had a nice little recap of Xena's map. And I really want Xena's map to be real. Really. I really do.
We'll talk about that next week on.
Okay. Well, I really want it to be, All right. So
it could be.
Yeah. Then Steve says that they haven't proven her wrong yet. So let's make some history.
Oh, yeah. Steve seemed really zealous to just like,
he's all in with this, this kind of like gridding out Oak Island to match Xena's map.
It's his world. It's their world, right?
It is. And I don't know, like we'll get to this later, but Rick asks them about whatever when they're out drilling, and he says, I can't really make a good decision about this because I'm so emotionally invested in it. I think Steve kind of is too, and he's the one that makes the recommendation. So it's like,
I don't know that he's emotionally invested in Xena's map. I think he is so excited about data. And this is like speaking his to language, him, like literally him and Erin speak the same language. Well, so for him, it's nice to have someone that understands what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
That's why you like chatting with him so much, because
he can talk way higher understanding of stuff than me, though.
I don't know.
I like you guys
like BFFs, or
you used to be.
Smart guy. Yeah, you used to be.
Was there a falling out that I didn't know? Is Steve mad at me?
I don't know. You used to chat with him all the time. I haven't heard much about him. Steve. Okay, all right. Well, that's good.
We talk about grids.
Good.
Not. He hasn't like given me information.
I just thought you moved on to Scott Barlow.
Well, Scott's my meme best friend.
Your meme best friend.
Yeah, we share memes a lot.
I don't talk to anybody from Oak Island because they don't like me very much.
Because you're just not as cool as me.
That's okay. Anywho, so Erin says that, you know what? You don't even need to dig in the money pit anymore. Bombshell.
You see Jack's face.
It's like, what? He's like, I must have heard something wrong.
What?
Yeah. I mean, geez, what a thing to say to people digging on Oak Island.
I like the idea, like the approach of why you wouldn't be digging in the money pit location anymore, especially considering the money pit being lost. And if we really, it is the oak enter here.
The oak enter here.
It's a starting point, maybe not an ending point, right?
It is, and I kind of like the way that what she presented in this episode. But I think so. She presented it to him in one direction, but I think she discovered wherever her X marks the spot is from reverse engineering the whole thing. She went from the insight and kind of made it fit to the money pit.
I don't think she so much as made it.
I think it fits.
I think she did reverse engineer, which you have to. What do you and I do when we're treasure hunting? You have to reverse engineer
that's
based off the information you have.
You start in the front, work one way, you get somewhere, then you have to find out where you think the X marks the spot is, and then work a way to make it connect to the other spots, which is fine.
The goal is to disprove yourself. We did have a good chat about the line, though, and how, which we can get to in a little bit. But I think, how else are you going to do it? You have to reverse engineer at least part of it when it's been going on this long.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying I can argue with you for a while. And
yeah, for like 15 years. Right. Good job.
Yep.
Oh, man, this is 16th year. Sweet 16. And we've been together. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, why not?
Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
Anyway, she believes that the money pit is a baited booby trap entrance, but she thinks that the vault is somewhere else, and it can be found using Xena Halpern's map.
Mm-hmm.
And the La Formula cipher, and how that will take you to the actual vault location from the money pit. Mm-hmm. And that's just like,
yeah, it's really
even though it's like literally says that on the map, like it's in plain, like literally she says it's been hiding in plain sight. Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has been hiding in plain sight, but at the same time, you have to be able to have all these original, like all these pieces. It's like a scavenger hunt. And when you're giving directions, turn right at the White House on the corner and go here, here, and here. Well, if you don't have your original oak enter here, it makes it a bit more difficult.
Pretty tough when people have been messing up that area for 200 and whatever years.
Yeah,
right?
I'd suggest reading Xena's book. I just started like really getting into, man, there's a lot in there. Woo!
You have it on Kindle?
I have it on Kindle and I have a hard copy.
Cool.
So, anywho, we get a flashback to 2016 when they had Dr. Kevin Knight and his assistant I'm gonna mess up her name. Mm-hmm. Nada Alderab.
That sounds great.
If I say it quickly.
You're right. No, that's right. Yep. You got it.
Mm-hmm. Who worked to decode it and got us that translation, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. We know there's kind of some letters missing from like around the edges, but we get the translation again. We get to see it.
We do. Mm-hmm. And then Marty says that they're bringing the best minds to solve this, and that he's seen enough Aaron's presentation to be impressed and to want to see more. Mm-hmm. So that's good. All right. So what does the cipher say? It says, "Halt! Do not dig." Wait,
but it said to enter here.
They have been like, halt, do not dig. Have we been following the wrong instructions for 230 years?
I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah. So you have the text.
Yeah, hang on. All to make it easier. So halt, do not dig. Burrow at 40 feet with an angle of 45 degree. The shaft of 522 foot. You enter 22 foot. You enter the corridor of 1,065 foot. Reach the chamber.
Chamber. That's what they've been looking for the whole time.
The chamber.
The chamber.
Okay, so halt, do not dig. That's one of the things about the booby traps, right? And this, it would make sense considering they keep getting flooding and all that. It, like, for someone that didn't know that that's where you're not supposed to dig, mm-hmm. The oak, the tree, which is said to have like carvings, like mason carvings and all kinds of symbols on it, which we don't know anymore because we don't have the tree, then you'd say, whoa, this must be the place I'm supposed to dig, and start digging. But if you know
these instructions,
this is, you start here, you mm-hmm. enter here, and you have La Formula. Bada bing, bada boom.
So basically, the people that would have the correct formula, they would note, oh, this is the dig site that everybody thinks you would have to dig at, or this is an obvious mm-hmm. dig site. Halt, do not enter, do not dig. Mm-hmm. Go this many feet and that many feet, and you'll find the real place to go. All right, so that sounds all good, but for people like poor Daniel McGinnis, mm-hmm. he finds and he's like, oh, hot dog, I'm digging right here, mm-hmm. and then he's just out of luck. Mm-hmm. And everybody else for the last 230 years.
Mm-hmm. I think there's just, it's hard because we have got her in many episodes, and even then it's not like we're getting the entirety of their research, of the story, of everything that's going on. We're only getting the bits and pieces that have been edited and given to us. So I'm really hoping, crossing my fingers, that we can talk to Aaron sometime, like maybe after the season, mm-hmm. like we did with Chris and Corian.
That would be fun.
Because
I'd be down.
you and I, at least after talking with them, Like, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah, when we talked to Chris and Corey, and man, it made so many of those pieces fall into place that like it just, a lot of the things that she's talking about, I get, but I want to get more.
Well, and to have a full understanding or where certain information has come from and all that. So hopefully we can make that happen. I'm gonna try my best.
You try. I mean, you're the magic maker. So.
I'm the magic maker. Anyways, right. So moving on.
So she kind of breaks those up, though. The halt, do not dig. Aaron thinks that this means do not dig all the way down, like we were saying. If you go too far, you'll set off the flood tunnels. Burrow at 40 feet with an angle of 45 degree at the shaft of 220 or 122 feet. Aaron thinks that is a bearing from the money pit to the northwest. All right. And so, I mean, it could be any direction. Why does she say northwest?
Well, that's where you were talking about the reverse engineering, exactly. Right? Now, Burrow. So something we were talking about, Burrow at 40 foot. I was wondering, is like burrow in French the same type of idea as like a fox burrow?
Or like
like a digging,
a mole burrowing. Yeah. Like, well, that's what Rick Lagina thinks it is, apparently.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, let's say at 40 feet with an angle. So if I go from the money pit 45 degrees, I don't know if I know the direction, which I probably should. But 40 feet from there, you should find maybe a burrow. To me, that would be something hiding in plain sight.
Or a mound.
A mound, like a serpent mound where foxes came out of. I want to know how far away that is. That is precisely. I believe it was lot 13. I think I wrote down 15, but 13. And what if it's only 40 feet away? What if you're supposed to enter through the fox den?
Fandango would be all over that.
Yes. That's all I've got to say about that. It could be a secret tunnel entrance.
Is life like a box of chocolates as well?
Yes. So let's go from the original money pit location, wherever that may be, and out 40 feet or something. I mean, I'd probably still be in the money pit location, but whatever.
Yep. So anywho, Aaron is choosing to go northwest with that bearing. You enter the corridor of 1,065 foot, reach the chamber. She draws a circle from the end of her theoretical 522 foot shaft, and it's the length. The circle is 165 feet radius. Around from that point out, right?
Yeah, because you don't know what direction, so you're trying to see if there's a marker.
She found that it touched the bottom tip of Nolan's cross, which would be cone E. And Aaron proclaims that Xena's map has been pointing to the vault the entire time, and relayed her findings to Xena's map where it says the Earth Vaulted Bay. Aaron is baffled that she isn't hearing them talk at this point. She's like,
am I hearing? I felt bad.
Did I get disconnected?
Yeah. Am I hearing conversation or you're hearing stunned silence? I know if Marty is impressed, then there's something that we're not fully understanding.
Well, it's because, they're getting this huge presentation. We're getting 5 minutes.
Well, that's my point. It takes a lot to make Marty like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
he's a whoa.
And he's a whoa. But something you had pointed out is with cone E in that line, that what if it's supposed to go through cone E at the base, which traditionally in a church, which is churches are shaped like crosses, many of them, your entrance is down at that foot of an entrance. And then what if the line's supposed to go through that arm?
Yeah, the arm of Nolan's cross.
Yeah, the arm, because it doesn't miss it by too much. But what if it is just off by that?
Well, that's when later on we have Steve recommending moving, her spot, her original spot a little bit from the money pit, because they're not exactly sure where the money pit was. It's a mystery, and they have a good idea, but maybe even Guppy's off.
Yeah, I mean, and also since everything shifted so much under there, it's not like what you're going to find right underneath, especially with the solution channel, is going to be exactly where it would have originally started. So I mean, we're talking about a pretty wide range you can be off. We're talking about feet, not inches. And
oh yeah, and if you're off by an inch, you're off by a mile for sure.
How many times have we said that?
A lot, because it happens to us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Marty loves her idea. It says that the money pit could be the trap, the diversion she's talking about, and a different chamber would be where the valuables were stored. It makes complete sense from somebody just like hearing about it, looking into it. I mean, if you're trying to hide these valuables, I mean, the best way to do it is to leave a false trail for someone else to dig to the center of the earth and not ever never find anything.
And then we just keep booby trap holing, like yeah.
So Marty asks Erin if she has any idea how deep this could be. She says she's not sure, but offers a warning. Like you said earlier, of how to proceed. Drill from if they drill from the top, they run the risk of water rushing into the vault, and maybe destroying stuff. Right?
Yep.
She says the safest way is to approach this from the 522-foot corridor. Rick says that Erin has brought an outside the box ideas on everything, and all he can say is "wow, wow, wow." Think that's going to be an Oak Island trivia question night? Who said "wow"?
Who said "wow"?
Rick Lagina. It's not though.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
It's not a question on Oak Island.
Got it. Well, and the reason she's saying we're not digging the money pit area is because we're going after the elbow, and so that we don't end up flooding potential.
If her elbow doesn't connect to the money pit exactly, then there's not going to be anything there.
Yeah.
So, and we'll find that out shortly. But Marty says that he likes the idea, and it's definitely worth drilling the boreholes. So let's do it. He's in.
He feels like there's enough data and research there, and if Marty's convinced it's worth the boreholes, then it's probably worth the boreholes.
Yeah, and Rick Lagina is like totally in. So that's a two brother thumbs up right there. It's two thumbs up from two brothers.
We know we could get it from Rick when it comes to Xena, but
anything.
But if Marty says all right, then all right.
All right. All right, so then we go out to the money pit, and we have some.
Plotworthy says the following day.
The following day. So Rick and Steve join reps from Choice Sonic Drilling, and they drill on Erin's behalf.
So Guppy's got a little map there that's showing her projected line, and it looks like it's laid over the LiDAR. At first, I thought it was seismic, but I'm pretty sure it's over the LiDAR.
Okay.
So they could hopefully hit this spot.
Yeah. Then Rick says, "Hey, are you guys ready to make some history?"
Mike, we're gonna try. He's a real optimist there.
Yeah, Rick's putting some big expectations on this.
No pressure or anything, but Rick Lagina wants you to make some history.
Yeah. So the borehole is named EJZ1. Charles joins them, and these guys seem really excited. Like Charles notes that nobody's ever really looked in this area before, so that's exciting.
Well, why not look in an area nobody's looked? Maybe we'll get some. At the very least, some good data. It's kind of like Lot 15's really been bearing fruit this year. How much time have we spent on Lot 15?
Yeah,
I don't know. We'd have to ask them. But
so, do you know what EJZ1 stands for?
If I had to guess,
do you have any guesses? Yeah.
What'd we say? Erin, Judy, Xena.
Most likely. I could almost guarantee it, but I've never heard a confirmation on that, but it makes sense.
I think everybody's hypothesize is that?
Yes.
All
right. Steve says that if they do find the tunnel, what are they going to do from here? Rick says, you know what, Steve, that's going to be a great problem to have.
So brother. Next question is, what do we do? And he's like, well, let's make that a problem.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
That would be good. All right. So then, kind of let them do their work there for a bit, and we move on to.
Well, should we wrap up the money pit?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good.
Let's do that. So we kind of get them coming back and Rick joins Steve, Brennan, Terry at what I dubbed the operating table. Right?
Yeah. Get some patience up there.
Yeah, got some patience on the table. And Steve lets Rick know they're about to hit 99 feet. And it's pretty much just been hard till the entire time on this hole.
It's got to be a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean,
but they're getting there.
But it's data, right? Data is data. And Terry said that they did hit one horizon of embedded plastic clay.
And wasn't fully saturated.
Yeah.
And looked undisturbed.
And let's see here.
Rick says that he doesn't think that he's been interested in a drill program like this one, like as much. And that's saying something. For Rick Lagina, like I've seen him like with childlike wonder in his eyes, ready to dig some of these holes in the money pit. And this one's got him most excited. Like he really wants that Xena stuff to be real.
He does, but he also knows that he's being biased about it. That's why, I mean, he keeps saying it, and thank you, Rick, for knowing that instead of just being like
blinders,
right?
You know, he doesn't. He's smart enough to take off the blinders.
Yeah, seriously,
and that's amazing for a treasure hunter.
Oh yeah, any
like,
treasure.
I don't want to take off my blinders. I'm like, I am focused on this
annoying.
Thing.
They're pulling the the caisson out, and Brennan and Steve are like, is that a boulder? Because it's like really hard, right? And Terry's like, well, maybe. And it's like bends the whole giant piece, but it never breaks.
Yeah, it's like
it's compact till in.
It's like Gumby.
It's a Gumby guppy.
Yeah. You remember Gumby, right?
Yes, I remember Gumby.
Well, does Gumby have any shows or anything anymore?
No, but like, how old do you think I am?
I know how old you are.
I know.
You just had a birthday.
I know.
You just turned 21
We're not
again.
Talking about that.
You just turned 21 again.
Yes, I can legally drink still. Let's see here. Rick points out, for there to be a tunnel, you're probably going to need some very competent cap rock. That doesn't look like that. I mean, it's very compact. But
that was like bendable though.
Yeah,
it's not a rock. Yeah, he doesn't think that you're just gonna get lucky and hit an open void.
Nope.
And that's when he's like, yeah, it said burrow in the La Formula cipher, so you got to get in there, like dig around like your little mouse burrowing.
I know. And then I was like, I tried. Okay, so maybe let's say it's backfilled with sand, just so that it's something you're not just going to know what it is, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Or I've talked about maybe the entrance is covered with rocks, you know, like just big, heavy boulders.
Like Jesus's tomb.
Yeah, like Jesus's tomb, the classic picture you see of they roll away the tomb.
The boulder.
Yeah, the boulder for the tomb. Yeah, it could be something like that. Or, like I said, looks like a fox burrow or something sneaky disguised. My gut says it's not going to be you have to show up to the island and then burrow through, you know, backfill. Unless, you know, they're backfilling to cover their tracks after you've already got the treasure. But at that point, you just peace out, right? I mean, why? I just don't think you're going to burrow, Rick. I think we have to look at different definitions of burrow.
Maybe, perhaps, likely.
Yeah, sorry. Tangent, Rick.
It's okay.
Different burrow.
All right, so then we see Steve, Charles, and Terry continuing to look at the samples from EJZ1.
Yep.
Steve noted what they were looking for, or what they were looking at this point, looked like sand. And Terry concurred. Like, Steve was like, hey, sand
at 119 feet.
Yeah, so I mean, Steve's all about finding the rocks and stuff. So sand is like right up there with it.
Yep.
So good job, Steve, with the sand.
He's, you know, kind of tossing it to Terry, saying, is this natural? Or are we looking at backfill or, you know, for burrowing? And Terry says he thinks it is indeed natural.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It's about 4 feet of it. Sad, but data is data, right?
Well, that's where good old Guppy, he's like,
he's got a lot of airtime this year.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? If she's determining that this line would have come off of RF1, but maybe, just maybe, it's off by a little bit. And like we said, you're off by an inch, you're off by a mile.
Right.
They could have been like inches away from a real void, a real tunnel, a real shaft or whatever, and they don't even know it. Well, and they might never know it if they move it too much.
And this is where he kind of flexes his muscles of the brain and is like, well, based on the data, right, we know that anywhere from RF1 to OC1, we were pulling out
the wood that dated back to the early 1700s.
Yeah,
right?
OC1 was 1706.
That's a way before the discovery of the money pit.
So if you use that as your outermost extreme, I mean, that could really move your line.
Yeah, and it could even make that line up with the arm of Nolan's cross and hit the bottom of Nolan's cross, and that's where your diagonal line would be, or your path, your shaft, if you will. Yeah. So I don't want to pass up the part where Rick asks them to be coldly analytical, because he's emotionally invested in this, and that's when Steve popped up with, let's look at the data and let's look at. So
he was like, let me be cold and analytical. You know what else? So we've all seen the meme going around where Laird has crushed Steve's dreams with the leather. Know what Steve does this episode?
What?
Crushes Erin.
Does he?
Yeah, because they call her from the table.
Oh.
And it's like, we dug your hole, and he's like, we didn't find it.
And she's like, oh. You can hear it in her voice. She's like, okay, darn. I was like, aw.
And like, she was excited to crush it. I was like, Steve,
yeah,
you know how it feels.
Yeah, dude.
Like, so I wrote, Steve calls Erin. He crushes her dream. And then my side note says, he's being a Laird. Literally, that's what my note said.
Yeah.
Steve's a dream crusher.
Yeah. Well,
he's come to the Laird side.
Negative Nevin for you. He's rubbing off on him. Come on, dude.
I know. Maybe let her down a little easier. You know what it's like to be crushed.
I think he does. Well, Rick says that they're going to give her all the data so that she can reassess and rework her hypothesis. Because, like we're going to say it one more time. Off by an inch, off by a mile. It's a big deal when you're digging for anything underground.
Let alone a moving target. Well, this one hopefully isn't moving. But...
Yeah. So that's kind of the end of working at the money pit this episode. So we can go back to where we have Research Center, and where Rick, Charles, and Craig welcome in. Oh my goodness.
Sandy Campbell, who is a numismatist.
Numismatist.
What does that mean?
He's a coin guy. I don't know. I hope it means something about coins.
I do too, but I really did mean to actually look that up.
You know what? I'm going to look it up right now.
Because I was like, so number.
All right.
Numberist?
A numismatist is a specialist of numismatics of coins. Includes collectors, special dealers, and scholars who use coins in object-based research. So there you go.
So coin.
He's a coin guy.
He's a coin guy.
Sandy is a coin guy.
All right.
Let's hear what Sandy had to say.
7 weeks ago on lot 15 near the pine tar kiln.
Okay, Clotworthy. All right, so they do talk about the finding of this coin on the first episode of this year, with Jack and Gary, and they brought Sandy in because he's an expert in rare and ancient coins with over 40 years of experience. So he's gonna know what he's talking about.
Yeah, we would hope.
All right, so they do that recap of the discovery. Sandy says that it's clearly a Chinese cash coin, and that it could be 1,100 to 1,300 years old, or even older. And that's just what?
Clearly, it's a Chinese cash coin.
Yeah, but it's like like the double take, like what?
Yeah,
like that's what Rick Lagina is feeling at this point.
Everybody's just shocked, right?
He estimated the date due to the deterioration and how thin the edges are. Rick says that is absolutely the oldest thing found on Oak Island if the dates are right from Sandy. And he said, wow, again. So he said that twice in this episode.
He's a wowza.
Yeah. Craig asks if the Chinese coins were used everywhere, like the Spanish coins that had been found, because it's just like the currency of the day, you just would use it wherever you go.
If you went to Spain, I mean, you're gonna use what you got.
Yeah. And then Sandy says no, because the Chinese kept to their part of the world, and their coins didn't travel until much later. And he thinks that it could have landed here as a pocket piece, and that the people that landed here, that landed there, would have taken stuff like that. So yeah.
No, it looks cool. It's like your lucky coin or whatever, and like he said, maybe they weren't having a lucky day that day, and so the coin didn't work.
And popped right out of the pocket.
Forget that.
Yep. Yeah, and so I want to talk about something first before we go on. Like, there's this. I can't pull it up right now because I literally just got a new phone yesterday because our son broke my phone.
Yes.
He dropped it and cracked it and it didn't work anymore. So I don't have all of my images saved. And I probably wouldn't call the guy out by name anyway. But on a Facebook group, there's a guy, I don't remember his name. He posted that he that he has been to Oak Island and he's brought a bunch of old coins and just sprinkled them around. Like, he thought it was funny, and he wants to see Laird or Gary or whoever find these things, and he has pictures of them all. And so he's like, well, I get a good laugh about them finding the coins I left there. I don't know that he left this one or anything. He didn't claim that he did, but it's just like, come on, dude. Yeah, you're going to ruin it for everybody. And that's like, what a jerk thing to do.
Work.
Yeah, well, they're going to know things have been planted because it's not going to be it's not going to be like under a foot of soil, because you're not going to go to Oak Island with a spade and dig a hole to hide your coin and then make it look like it's been there for 100 years. Well, yeah. I'm just saying, it's not happening. Like, don't be a punk. Don't be a jerk. That makes me sick. Like, that literally makes me sick. Like, makes me so sad.
I can see you're very fired up.
I don't like this guy.
Calm down.
Like, don't do that, because it's not fair to the rest of us that want to go there and enjoy it for what it is. And
no, I agree. It's don't do stuff like that. That's messed up. Don't move. Don't ruin it for the rest of us.
I hope Oak Island people, whoever has seen said post and bans that guy from going.
Were you gonna say Barlow's
no.
him from the island?
No.
Maybe Barlow can.
Maybe he could ban him from the island, because that guy doesn't deserve to go back. He doesn't deserve to have the fun of Oak Island that everybody else gets to have. Anyway, rant over.
Okay, now back to it.
I didn't appreciate it. All right.
Rick says they should probably call Gary.
They should. And so they do. And Charles is like, yeah, get him in here. This is going to be great.
And what was my response?
I don't remember what.
Oh, I said, I hope they're going to tell Gary they're not going to tell him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give him a little taste of his own medicine. I was sure
they were going to give him some taste of his own medicine and be like, it's like, tell him it's fake, or just say, you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow, or the war room meeting.
Yeah. You should have said, like, oh, it's really old, but we're not going to tell you all the details about it, buddy.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that would have been a good comeuppance.
I kind of wish they would have. I mean, it would have been nice, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. But I mean, they didn't, and that's fine. And Rick says that, Rick, right before they brought Gary in, Rick was like, he just wants to hear, he loves the enthusiasm in Gary's voice when he's like, it's a coin. Yeah. He's like, I can't even say it as good as him.
No, because he does it with this, like, it just falls out of him, his pure excitement.
Yeah, it's really good.
We got a new Garyism.
Did we?
Yeah. That's fan damning Tozy is what he said.
Tozy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to double check.
It must be a British thing. All right, that's cool.
He was very excited.
Yeah. And then so they introduced Gary to Jack, and Jack, because Jack came to Sandy and gave him the news about how old they think the coin is. Gary looked gobsmacked to me.
Yep.
And he says that it could be as old as, like, literally the guy said it could be as old as 400 BC. Okay, 400 BC? That's like 2,400 years ago.
BC? Before Charles.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, before Charles. Yeah. Clotworthy said that maybe the Oak Island mystery is older than anybody knew. And Gary said that this could be treasure. Sandy says it is treasure, and that it's very valuable to the island. He's not saying it's valuable, just it's a valuable find to the island if, it's part of the lore now. Because some people have found, like, you can buy Chinese cash coins on eBay for, like, cheap.
Yeah.
And, Okay. Yeah, they're probably like millions of them.
Right.
You know, it's like the biggest country population wise. Maybe not at the time, but they probably had millions and millions of people carrying around these things, and there's probably tons of them. And yeah, they're not worth very much, but like valuable to the island, yes, because of the significance of finding something that old on Oak Island.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so then we go to the swamp, right?
Yep.
All right, tell us about the swamp thing.
The swamp things. So currently the swamp's being drained, and it still needs to finish before they can dive in and do their excavation. But since a portion of it is dry enough, Gary and Peter are back at it, and Peter's wearing a green shirt, like someone that should be digging for.
You got to wear a green shirt.
Apparently, if you're gonna dig, you need a green shirt.
Unless your last name's Lagina, then
you can wear blue.
Then Rick can wear whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, that's because Rick can do whatever Rick wants,
I guess. Yep. So they start scanning. They got a hit, and it was an old iron pin. Peter asks what it was a pin for, and Gary explains that it's likely for a ship or a wharf. Likely, he said this is actually easy to date. This definitely looks like something from the 1700s.
Well, we've seen plenty of this type of stuff all over the island, right?
Yeah, but it's a good first find.
It is a good first find. It's something that we want to find in that area, especially if there is going to be whatever there is there.
But it wasn't a top pocket find. It was like a fanny pack find or a bum bag find.
A bum bag. Yeah, we got to say that right. It's a bum bag find. So should we wrap up the swamp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they did do a flashback about Spooner and Rick going in the swamp, but I mean, yeah, they're it's all stuff we know very well. All right. So Peter and Gary.
Yeah, they get another hit and start digging, and Peter ends up getting wood. Well, wood doesn't usually set off a metal detector.
Yeah, what's wood doing setting off a metal detector?
This wood happened to have those pins in it, or nail, or whatever they are.
Did you notice that there was a little flag next to it, like it was already pre-marked?
I think that, it could have been that they got something in the scans over there. It could have. There's flags all over the place. Yeah. Spooner put a ton of stuff down.
Yeah, it's probably like, it might have been like some remnant from like, instead of like when they pull out the stake that Spooner put in, they probably put in a little flag.
That's possible. That
when it got drained.
Where they're trying to, they are trying to excavate over there. You gotta put a flag in your important stuff, especially when you're gonna be driving down those piling sheets.
For sure.
Anywho.
All right, so Peter is like the hero though for this episode for me. Like he's out there.
He's the hero?
Yeah, he found this thing. It was him.
So it's Peter Slipway?
It's Peter Slipway.
Is Peter slipping and sliding? I'd like to see Peter fall in the swamp. That'd be funny.
That would be funny. You're mean though.
I am mean. Who said I wasn't? Yeah.
Gary has enough finds. I know he technically like detected this, but Peter dug it up. It's Peter's find. Okay. Let's just give it to Peter.
Okay.
All right. And Peter looked so proud of himself. He really did. He's like, yeah, you know what? Look at this. I found something on Oak Island.
I like seeing more Peter.
Even Gary gave him the credit. He's like, Peter, you found this.
Good job, Peter.
Yeah, Peter, good job. Gary says that the wood looks hand-hewn and immediately finds another piece that also looks the same. Gary says that they may have discovered the top of a shaft before they brought in the real expert, apparently, the archaeologist. Gary says anytime you find something new on Oak Island, it's a good day, mate.
Yep.
And it is.
Yeah, and it was very interesting that they were all like notched out to fit within each other, and I don't know, it definitely stood out. I can see why they would think like a shaft at first. And he says, I think it's time to call Laird. He may want us to stand down.
Let's get the big guns in.
I just see Laird as like the commander of the Fellowship of the Trowel and being like, stand down. And then everybody comes marching in with their trowels. That's it. That was all.
And that's it. Good story. Fun.
Yes. And what Laird points out is it looks an awful lot like a slipway, doesn't it? And they're like, oh.
Yeah, but then Peter also called Rick to come and take a look, right?
Yeah, he said, I think I should call my uncle.
Yeah, and then after, so Laird's already there, he's already said, slipway. And then Gary's like, you know what? I think you're right. And then Gary says, hey, Rick, when Rick shows up, I think you've seen something like this before, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like out in Smith's Cove, and then Rick immediately says, "Oh yeah, could be slipway." So I mean, yeah.
Rick and Alex show up, and I had put in my notes that I put on this one that Rick pretty much just like dives in, right? I mean, hands on. He's like feeling the wood, looking for the nail heads, because they're explaining they found it by metal detecting, even though this is a wood structure, and based off of where those pins are, this be out, like through the underneath the road and out into the water.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They could just be finding the beginning of it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to tear that road down.
And they were gonna put
they need to put a bridge there.
Like the giant piece of equipment to put the sheet pilings in that area. They might be making some adjustment as to where exactly they're putting their equipment if they're wanting to dig.
They need to just make it bigger.
The hard thing is figuring out how to, get the equipment in, and oh my goodness.
I love the meme that Steve Guptill put up yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
That said that look your boss gives you when you recommend a $50 million dig or whatever.
Yeah, when you ask for like a 200-foot by 300-foot hole for like a big dig or whatever.
A $50 million big dig. Yeah. And
hey, we've advocated for that on here.
Heck yeah, do it. But they need the same kind of thing over in the swamp now. It needs to be a $50 million big old like
a Steve hole,
7-time cofferdam, 7 times bigger than it's going to be right now because there's too much out there to find.
But they can only have it up for so long. I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to have it up as long as they did with the with Smith's Cove.
Yeah.
Anytime you're dealing with swamps and wetland areas, at least over here, it's
harder to.
It's harder because of all the different species that you're dealing with, and at least around here, there's plenty of endangered ones.
Well, hopefully, it's kind of like a nasty swamp, and I don't think anything lives there, so that's good at least.
Oh, I'm sure lots of things live there.
You think?
I think the curse lives there.
The curse does live there. Hey, didn't you send that picture to Steve Guptill? Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want credit.
And then he made a nice little meme about it.
Yeah, good except job. He didn't make a meme. He just like actually wrote what it said. But it's not like I should get credit. It's not like I actually took the picture.
You took the screenshot.
I took a screenshot of something that Prometheus did.
Good job. Well done.
Good job. Well done. Me. That was my favorite part of that episode.
You and Prometheus tag team for that, so good job.
We're best friends. Yeah. Not really, but yeah, kind of.
All right. So Gary says that Laird suggested that they could have been something like this in Smith's Cove. You know, like I was saying, Rick smiled real big, slip away. Gary shows them where the iron fastener is located and that he detected it again for him. Like you said, Rick jumped right in, wanted to put hands on.
Hands on.
Alex suggested uncovering it, asked them if they agreed, and Laird said definitely. So if you got his approval,
right?
I mean, you're in good shape. All right. Gary thinks that this area should be a little treasure trove.
Well, yeah, I agree, Gary.
And then he literally gave Peter a pat on the back. Good job, Pete.
Good job, Pete. Yeah. What's with Pete?
He's Pete.
He's Pete? I thought he was only Peter. Oh. It's kind of like Billy is always Billy, except when it's Rick, it's Bill.
I don't know. Like when you shorten it like that, it's like a child name almost, you know?
You
like,
think?
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I was called Dusty, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like that.
Wait, now. You have an adult friend named Dusty?
Yeah, that's he's a weird like. He's just like he's a weird anomaly. There you go. Like we have a son named David. Can he be Dave or Davy? I know you don't like that, but like
no, do not call my son Davy.
Okay.
That's Crockett. Like none of that.
Well, he's a Wild Frontier guy, no? Okay. Anywho, I don't know. I just think Pete is like, because he's a younger guy, you know. Just hey, Pete.
Yeah, he's not like a child. He's like a full-fledged adult.
I know. I'd like to chat with Peter sometime. I think
Me
he'd be
too. I think
fascinating.
he'd be a blast to chat with.
Yeah, he'd be cool.
They did end up calling Marty,
Mm-hmm.
and he seems a little gobsmacked.
Yeah, they had to let him know what was up, and yeah, they told him about the slipway, and he's like, "Really? Oh boy!"
Yeah,
Like,
whoa.
That's like a direct quote from Marty. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Gary says that this area, this is the area that boats probably docked at, and they need a small slipway like this to take cargo up the hill. And he's hoping that they haul treasure up the slipway. And Rick had a big old smile about that.
Of course, we hope they haul treasure up the slipway. Then we can finally find some artifacts there.
Heck yeah! All right, so then what? Then we had
let's talk about where they continue talking about the slipway in the war room.
Yes,
right afterwards. So they end up headed to the war room. We get Rick, Doug, Alex, Laird, Peter, Scott, Marty, Craig. And Marty and Craig are there via video conference. And
it's a
full house.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the slipway discovery. Mm-hmm. And Marty says, "What does all this mean?" Like, and Laird, you're the archaeologist.
Tell us.
And it's just everybody laughs, including Laird, because we're all like, well, on Oak Island, nothing's typical, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny? I put everybody LOL.
Oh, everybody LOL. Yeah. I think Laird got a good chuckle out of it because, yeah, I think after his time in Smith's Cove and just like weird things kept coming up, he's like, I don't know. This doesn't even make sense. Mm. And he's like, what am I supposed to make of a slipway in the swamp?
Yeah.
That's like man-made.
We
should dig it.
And he recommended to have the nails checked. Mm-hmm. And Rick said that there were 2 spikes on it that he could feel, and that the top of them felt unique. Mm-hmm. And so they're definitely worth checking out. Marty says that he wants to get to the bottom of it and says that they need to keep digging.
Yep.
Typical Marty.
Typical Marty. But Rick also kind of wants to step back and says, well, there could be more structures if this is here, and perhaps we put in the sheet piling for this dig, and then we cut right through them.
Yeah, he's having some real hesitations.
Yeah, well, at some point you do have to put the shovel in the ground.
You do,
right? That's the same thing with the money pit. But he goes on to ask, would further dig what you can now to see if we can find anything else before while they're still waiting for the sheeting to show up. Mm-hmm. And I think Marty, it sounds like he agrees. Yeah, dig what you can, and maybe we'll find more. Maybe we'll get a trajectory of where something could be, and it may change where we want to put the sheets. Regardless, they have to wait for the sheets to show up from a different job. I don't know that they can get more, but it may change, the shape or where they want to put them.
7 times bigger is my recommendation.
But they're not going to have enough sheets for 7 times bigger.
I'm just saying, just do the whole front of the swamp, just like the whole, a big old U-shaped structure out of the thing out of just the swamp. Just get the whole swamp blocked out. What?
You could still end up putting sheet piling right through something.
You could.
I mean, no matter what you do, whether you move it, all you can do is your best educated guess. And
yeah, but look what they did in the Smith's Cove. They put that they had to amend the cofferdam with a bump out.
Yeah.
I mean, they have regrets. That's where you have Dan Blankenship coming out and say, I would have put it out another 50 feet. And he was right.
Of course he was right. But I think that's also one of the reasons, Rick is, okay, what data can we get right now? I mean, it's almost drained out there.
Well, yeah, they need to do something. They can't just sit on it.
Well, no, I mean, it's not just, oh, look, there's something here. Let's wait for the sheet piling to show up. It's no, let's see what we can do now, and maybe we'll find more.
I wonder if Dan Blankenship would see what they're doing out in the swamp, saying, just forget about that. Go back to the money pit. But then you get Fred Nolan, and he'd be like, yes, more.
50 feet.
Go out another 50 feet. Those guys are 2 sides of the same coin. They really are.
They are. It was great that they, started to
mend a fence at the end,
and work together. And
I'm glad we have Tom.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Yeah, so it's all good, right? All right, so I mean, they're going to revisit their proposal. Rick went on to say that these areas, they have these areas to investigate. My bad. And they might say, oh, gee, if we only pushed it out a little further there. I know we've already covered this, but I really wanted to get that OG. It was funny to hear Rick say, OG, wasn't it?
Sure. I just don't even remember that.
Oh, he did.
Well, I remember what Marty said.
Just kidding. What did he say? Get back to work.
No.
It's a typical Marty.
Oh. Well, I've always said that there's answers in the swamp.
Yeah, and then I wrote again, everybody LOL.
I'll sleep well tonight with that statement, says Rick.
Yeah, I know. That's really so funny. Like, he was so against the swamp, and now he's like so in.
He's like, I knew it.
Yeah, he hated the swamp. It's so funny.
Yeah, I get it. The fetid swamp.
Yeah. All right, so Marty asked someone, he said, someone needs to ask him what time it is. And Doug says,
what time is it?
What time is it, Marty? Marty replied, it's time to dig. Let's talkie and let's go dig. Typical Marty. That's another LOL moment. Everybody, like, Marty's just the biggest joker suddenly.
I feel like all his time, like, being stuck in quarantine has really caused him to, like, release and just be, like, so grateful for the people, and just we're seeing a whole new personality.
Yeah. There's one thing I noted here. There's a big plastic container on the table that no one talked about. Just saying.
Yeah, because it's probably stuff they found around the island in the last couple weeks, and the reason they were originally gonna just do this meeting was, hey Laird, can you look at this stuff? I mean, and tell us.
Yeah, probably, but I wanted to see what was in the bucket. Just saying. Oh.
I'm sorry that no one showed you what was in the bucket.
Yeah, me too.
It was probably just rocks.
I'm sorry too.
I bet you it was all pet rocks.
Could be.
All
right, so next time on the Curse of Oak Island. Whoa. Did we miss something?
Yeah, how about like lot 15?
Oh, yeah.
Because we
oh yeah, the new like romance thing that everybody's talking about. That's not a thing.
That in here.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing, guys. It's not a thing.
Yeah, everybody online's like, oh, I think Alex and Miriam would be a cute little item.
They're only like a generation apart.
Yeah, isn't he like, I don't know, 15 years older than her or something? Like that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but
it doesn't really matter. But
it's just
guys, calm down.
I think he's already spoken for too, and all that. So, anywho, lot 15, Serpent Mound.
Yes. So we have Miriam, Aaron, and Alex.
Yeah, Miriam is new to us on this episode. Like, this is her first like real episode. We saw her on the drilling down at the beginning of the season with Maddie Blake, but yeah, Miriam. Oh gosh. Emerald, Emerald. There you go.
Nicely done.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, Aaron Taylor and Alex. Aaron's digging around the dirt, and it says he thinks that this dirt is redeposited. So disturbed. Good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Came from redeposited one place to a new place.
Very good. Miriam would like to excavate another test pit, and so it's over yonder. That's what I wrote in my notes. It's over yonder.
Yonder.
Aaron asked him to tackle that. Yeah, what do you got in your
notes? Aaron says he's already been through the surface mat, or the kind of like your forest floor. All those pine needles and such you're gonna get. And you already said that they had been redeposited. So Alex asked Miriam, what are they gonna find? How will they know? And she's like, we're just gonna dig. And if something shows up,
then we found it. Duh.
Then that's what's there. I'm not going to put any expectations. I haven't hid a surprise egg in here for you or something. Get to work.
Let's get to work.
So she's like, get to work.
All right. So they get digging. But then Aaron shortly thereafter finds something.
Charcoal.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I think this is charcoal. Let's bag it, tag it, carbon date it, and we'll see where it goes.
And which is really interesting because we know from the pine tar kiln that we had a lot of charcoal over there.
Yep.
We can C14 date it. He points out that if they match, then that could tie these two structures together.
It could.
And potentially even one burn event.
It could. I kind of hope it's different personally, maybe, but whatever.
I don't, because if the Serpent Mound's the entrance aka the Foxton, is the entrance, and maybe they were using stuff from the Lot 15 Pine Tar Kiln.
Yeah, maybe underneath the Serpent Mound is the 522-foot tunnel.
Exactly. Shaft, yeah. If the foxes can live in there, I could probably walk in there.
What if they use the stuff they dug out of the 522-foot tunnel to make the Serpent Mound?
That's also possible. I like that.
The possibilities are endless, yo.
Yeah, on Oak Island, there's nothing typical. So, yeah.
Yeah. Is that it now? Now is it next time on the Curse of Oak Island?
Yes, now is next time on the Curse of Oak Island.
Next time on the Curse of Oak Island, they're at the swamp. It's drained. Gary says, "This is the day."
Yeah. It is the day. Every day is the day.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Spooner and Jack are watching Billy dig.
Good job.
Good job, Billy. You're the man.
He's the digger, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Spooner asks if they see this woody material and that it's the structure. That's the structure, and that it is old.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it just falls to pieces.
Yep, it's kind of just crumbly.
Mm-hmm.
But Gary says, 1700s, baby.
Oh, Gary. And then Jack and Gary find some kind of metal.
Yeah, some kind of Gary gasps and he says, "You got to be kidding me, mate," to Jack while they're metal detecting. They found this sharp instrument, and Jack asks if there's a hole in it. There is. Duh. And Jack says, "That's the kind of thing you're going to use while digging a shaft."
But why? Why, if it has a hole in it, does it? I was like, oh, look, it's like a giant needle. But Jack's like, this is for digging shafts. And I don't know why.
I don't know either.
But we'll learn. I mean, because I'm sure someone's going to educate us tomorrow.
Very likely. Yep. Well, yeah, we'll hope so. Craig gives the team some data from like a dating data, all right? Some carbon-14 data.
Because Craig, anytime he's giving like dates,
he's
and
got a smirk on his face,
they're gonna be good because he's got that like look at this.
Yeah,
he's got that look.
He wouldn't be a good poker player.
Oh no. Well, or great to play against.
I would love to play with I'm not good at poker, but I would love to play with Craig. I think I would be able to read him like a book.
Totally.
No offense, Craig. No, you can tell when he's excited.
Oh, and he's excited.
All right, so what dates do they got?
I got hopefully I got the right dates. 1320 to 1440.
That's right.
Sweet.
And everybody's wowed.
Whoa.
Like everyone's like, what?
It has to be the charcoal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because when you see everybody saying, whoa, you see Miriam, she's sitting at the war room table. You see Dr. Aaron Taylor on one of the video conference screens. So they're talking about something that has to do with that lot 15, or else they wouldn't be there.
Yep.
And so, charcoal. And if it dates to 1320 and 14, man, that's older than the Pine Tar Kiln, because that was like 1500s.
Like,
that's like a long time ago.
So the question is, which charcoal?
I don't know.
Like,
and you know what the real question is? Where's David McGinnis?
I was wondering.
I miss David McGinnis.
I miss Dave.
Yeah, he was like my new favorite of the season.
Right?
Like, he's
him
a cool
and
guy.
His headband.
Yeah, he's rocking it. Yeah, kind of like you got a headband on right now.
This isn't a head. Well, it is a headband, but it's not like a sweatband.
No.
Like, this would not be a good.
Yeah, but it's like.
You're done.
I'm done. Anywho, Rick, Marty, Jack, Peter, Doug, and Miriam were on hand, and Alex, Aaron Taylor were on the video conference. Doug says, "Hey, there's a date that matches that time period. What is it?" And Rick replies,
"Xena's map."
Xena's map.
Oh, I was like, "Xena's map." The Knights Templar?
Yeah, well...
Holy smokes!
Yeah, and Doug replied, the Knights Templar, baby. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. So
let's do it!
That's tomorrow night on the Curse of Oak Island. We're recording this on Monday, and so we're a little bit late. Sorry, our bad.
Yep.
We're going to get things fixed and get things...
2021, we're getting back on track.
That's right. Back on track. Jack. Quack.
Did you just call Jack a quack?
No. I just said quack after Jack because it rhymed.
You couldn't get any other word? Like a jack attack or?
Attack, yo. I don't know. That's it. So, anywho, that's the episode. I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I think it was a great episode.
I think the next episode is going to be great. I always love it when they pull out or when they get the dating results back. Because everybody gets so excited. It's always so much fun. And you get to see that little that little
twinkle in the eye
of Craig Tester. It's good stuff. So do we have anything else to chat about? I don't have any emails.
No, we don't have any voicemail. We do have trivia tonight.
Yes. Be here. Oak Island Podcast. Facebook.com/Oak Island Podcast. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oak Island Trivia. 20 questions. You can win fabulous prizes.
And then tomorrow, so we have pregame for the Curse of Oak Island. Yes. But we have a Maddie Blake special.
We do. And that's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to have our pregame. So an hour earlier to make room for Maddie Blake because he deserves the room.
Yes.
He deserves the space and we want to watch his show.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's going to be like Gary Drayton's top 10 top pocket finds, I think. So that'll be
heavy
fun.
Pockets.
Yeah. If you want to email us, you can please do so. We'd like to read some on the podcast. So it's OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to call and leave us a voicemail, 360-836-4549.
You can find us, we've already said on Facebook at Oak Island Podcast. And you can also find us.
What about on the Insta?
On the Instagram, over on the IG for the gram. Is at Oak Island Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Oak Island Pod.
Yeah, is there anywhere else we're at?
I think that's all the places.
That's the places.
I wanted to point out, so we have a group, right? Could it be Curse of Oak Island group that's been growing? It's a fun place for all of us to chat about episodes and all that good stuff. Also, there's another group called The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond, and they do a weekly recap on Wednesdays.
Yeah, for The Curse of Oak Island, right? And it's Jeff?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes, and then Lisa's there, and I say Lisa?
Yeah, you meant Linda.
And then
we got lots of
Jack.
We got lots of Oak Island friends. We got Lisa's, we got Linda's.
They do a great job. Yeah. And we saw that they are going to be doing an interview with Gretchen Cornwall. So we wanted to let you guys know about that. And you should join them. Let's see here. You have to join the group, which is The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond. And what day? I think it was the 9th. They'll be doing the interview with Gretchen.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up yet, but that should be fun.
We'll share the date, but you have to be part of the group in order to be able to watch it.
Yeah, because it's a live stream there like we do on our page, right?
Yeah, we do it on our page, but in order to see the interview, you need to be in their group.
So go join it. They're cool people, right?
Yeah.
You've had lots of talks with them. I've never talked to any of them, but I understand they're fun.
Yeah. They align with us. We're here to have a good time and
be mostly positive, right?
Yeah, I mean, this has been always a really positive community for us, and we really enjoy it. And I know we have a lot of listeners that enjoy their group as well. So I wanted to throw that out there because I know I'll be tuning in for Gretchen's interview.
Well, I've yet to see any of their stuff, so I'm excited to go and check it out. And that's The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, until next time.
Could it be Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.